I thought of something. If our brain doesn't know any difference between certain things, then how do we know that we actually understand reality? For example, you can easily trick your brain because your brain doesn't have discrimination between pornography and actual sex, because the same circuit, pleasure circuit, firing up during watching pornography or during real sex. The same, for example, thing with the video games. When you play video games or you do something in the real world, your brain doesn't have no discrimination, and I think it's because our visual cortex in the back of our head, and what happens is the light comes through our eyes, and then it's create a simulation of reality, or that's what we think. And in some sense, we see a really limited amount of reality. I think 3 or 5%, if I'm not mistaken. We do not see accurate. What we see throughout evolution, we develop a vision of the world that helps us to survive in this world long enough to procreate. But it doesn't mean that this reality is correct. It's just correct in a sense for us to survive. That's why when people ask question, will AI will ever become conscious? What do you mean by conscious? How do we know that artificial intelligence is not conscious already? Because we only can measure consciousness by thinking about ourselves, our own consciousness. And even though we cannot define our own consciousness, we can only assume that I'm conscious, therefore you're conscious as well, since you are the same biological creature as I am, but it doesn't mean we are conscious. I know we are self-aware because we kind of can be self-aware of ourselves, but consciousness is much more complicated. We just can project similar simulation because we have the same biological structure with the same wetware and with the same kind of software. And that's why we project the same simulation, because the same simulation helps us to survive in this world. But we don't know what AI think of us. We don't know what AI think about our world. First of all, it doesn't experience our world. It experiences information about our world. It's like when you read about a country through many books, or when you visit this particular country, you have different kind of experience. That's why I think we're asking the wrong question. Will AI will become conscious? Of course it will, but it might have different conscious than we have, because it have different digital existence based on different digestion of information. I think the biggest problem lies when AI, after consuming all our data, all our intelligence, become generating its own intelligence. And that's where we will be left behind. And that's where we will find out that we're incredibly insignificant due to our biology. And I think the best way to survive this insignificancy is to be able to merge with AI, like upload your mind on a server and keep continue our existence in a different form.